Tamriel exists in the mortal plane of Nirn, yet it is not the only realm in the Elder Scrolls. The planes of Oblivion are the home to all kinds of spirits known as Daedra. If the Aedra are gods to mortals, the Daedra seem to be their antithesis, essentially demons, even if scholars frown upon the use of the term. The most powerful Aedra are commonly referred to as the Divines, and they make up many of the Tamrielic pantheons of worship. But believe it or not, the most powerful of the Daedra, known as Daedric princes, attract similar levels of reverence, despite the fact that they have more questionable moral standards. Shrines and statues to the Daedra can be found all across the land, and Skyrim is no exception to the rule. In fact, some of the bolder Daedric lords have even taken up residence in the bustling cities of the province. So when our journeys take us to the Gates of Solitude, the home to the Blue Palace, the hub of Nord politics, the last thing we expect to find is the Prince of Madness himself. Hey guys, it's Drew here and welcome back to FudgeMuppet. Today we're going to take a closer look at the most loony, the most whimsical and the most bonkers quest in Skyrim. This quest takes us inside the mind of an old dead mad emperor, and we'll see a lot of interesting things down this rabbit hole. So let's get started where most of Solitude's travellers end up, at the Winking Skiver. Now, unless we fancy drinking ourselves into oblivion with a different prince, we should go to the bar and speak with the innkeeper, Corpulus Vinius. If we ask him for the local gossip, he'll inform us about a man wandering the streets near the Blue Palace. He seems distressed, but he's not making any sense, and while that could be shrugged off as a typical description of a homeless beggar, maybe there's something more to this story. So if we venture a little further into Solitude, we'll come across a dirty looking bosmer named Dervanin. He'll greet us by saying,
"Please, take pity on an old madman."
And should we inquire further, he'll say,
"My master has abandoned me, abandoned his people, and nothing I say can change his mind. Now he refuses to even see me. He says I interrupt his vacation. It's been so many years. Won't you please help?"
So his master has been on vacation for years. Some people just have it so easy, but how can we find your master?
"Last I saw him, he was visiting a friend in the Blue Palace. But no one as mundane as a Jarl. No, such people are below him. No, he went into the forbidden wing of the palace to speak with an old friend. Said it had been ages since they had last had tea. Oh, and you'll need the hip bone. It's very important. No entering Pelagius's wing without that."
So it seems as though the Blue Palace has some secrets kept hidden from the general populace. Either that or Dervanin is speaking out of his arse in hopes of getting a gold coin from us. If we ask why he doesn't leave his master, he'll say,
"Oh, you just don't understand. Without him I am not free. Without him I am doomed. All of his empire shall fall into chaos. Without his guidance, our homeland is falling apart. North wages war against South. The holy flame flickers and dies. We need his return. Oh, but I'm sure he'll repay you when he comes to his senses. His favor is a powerful, powerful thing, and so very worth any inconveniences."
Wow, okay, so Dervanin and his emperor are from a foreign land. How very strange. If we probe a little longer, he'll give us some options for entering the Pelagius wing. We can get on Falk Firebeard's good side, carrying out a quest for him before asking for entrance. Or we can bypass the quest and speak with one of the maids, Una or Erdi, who enter the wing for cleaning. And so we have our lead. But before we wander over to the Blue Palace, we should talk a bit more about this Dervanin character. We learn from this conversation that his homeland is currently engaged in a conflict of North versus South, and without the Emperor, things are falling apart. This makes a lot more sense when we realise that this character also appeared in the Elder Scrolls 4 during the Oblivion crisis. In the Shivering Isles, Dervanin is in a much better state. He is a high priest of Mania, and with that information, it all makes sense. Mania is warring with dementia, and the Emperor, Sheogorath, is on vacation, though I can't for the life of me think why he'd want a holiday in the Blue Palace of all places. Anyway, if we enter the palace and speak to one of the maids, we can simply lie and say that Falk asked us to check out the Pelagius wing. Inside the Pelagius wing, it becomes abundantly clear that this place is not often occupied by anyone living. The place is a mess. Furniture and crockery are strewn across the dusty floor, and cobwebs line the walls and the ceiling. Didn't Dervanin say the maids come in here to clean? If so, someone really ought to be fired. The candles remain burning for some bizarre reason, and aside from that glaring fire hazard, no other signs of life are present. Quite the vacation spot Sheogorath has chosen. As we explore the deserted rooms, it would be wise to mention who this wing is named after. Foris Pelagius Septim III was the Cyrodiilic Emperor from the 145th year of the Third Era to the 153rd year of the Third Era. He was colloquially known to the people as Pelagius the Mad or the Mad Emperor, and those titles were not given out for no reason. At the age of 8, Pelagius became the King of Solitude, and he was known for having unusual weight problems, one day being described as a hale and hearty soul with a heart so big it widens his waist by an Ebonheart diplomat, and 5 months later being described as a skeleton by the Princess of Firsthold. But he was also known for some other eccentricities, like locking the Prince and Princess of Silvanar in his rooms with him, and even removing all of his clothes during a speech at a local festival. When he was crowned Emperor in the year 145, he supposedly fainted just as the crown was placed atop his head. When the Argonian ambassador visited from Blackrose, Pelagius insisted on speaking in only grunts and squeaks. It was an interesting diplomatic strategy to say the least. He also insisted on cleanliness, and when the maids looked like they had too little work to do, he would defecate right there on the floor to liven things up. When he began biting guests at his imperial court, his advisors had soon had enough, and he spent his remaining years in private asylum across Tamriel. It seems clear that back when he was alive, Pelagius had obviously been corresponding with the Daedric Prince of Madness. That, or he was the subject of Sheogorath's unsolicited torment. Either way, Pelagius is long dead, so surely the prince is not here in Solitude to visit the former emperor. But just as we ponder the question, we are teleported to another realm, Pelagius the Mad's mind. And as we try to take in our surroundings, it's hard not to be distracted by the tea party going on directly in front of us. Here, in the middle of a glade within the misty mindscape, a dinner table is set up, and a man in a purple and red suit, the Daedric Lord Sheogorath, says,
"More tea, Pelly, my dear."
Oh, I couldn't. It goes right through me. Besides, I have so many things to do. So many undesirables to contend with. Naysayers, buffoons, detractors. Why, my headsman hasn't slept in 3 days.
You are far too hard on yourself, my dear, sweet, homicidally insane Pelagius. What would the people do without you? Dance, sing, smile, grow old? You are the best septim that's ever ruled. Well, except for that Martin fella. But he turned into a dragon god, and that's hardly sporting. You know, I was there for that whole sordid affair. Marvelous time. Butterflies, blood, a fox, a severed head, and the cheese to die for.
Yes, as you've said countless times before.
Harumph! Well then, if you're going to be like that, perhaps it's best I take my leave. A good day to you, sir. I said good day!
Yes, go. Leave me to my ceaseless responsibilities and burdens.
And just like that, Pelagius disappears. At this point, questions should be buzzing about in your head like a torch bug in a jar that's just been shaken violently by a snot-nosed kid. Pelagius died an era ago, and Sheogorath is here vacationing within the dead man's mind. I guess this is to be expected from a Sheogorath quest. Now, for those unaware, when Sheogorath spoke of Martin Septim and the fact that he was present for the whole ordeal, that may seem like nothing of interest. After all, Daedric princes are mighty powerful and could probably spectate over any mortal affair they wished. But this snippet of dialogue is especially interesting if you've been to the Shivering Isles as the hero of Kvatch. In that questline, the hero of Kvatch defeated Jigalag, taking up the mantle of Prince of Madness. So the protagonist who helped Martin thwart Mehrunes Dagon is literally standing here in front of us as Sheogorath. That information makes our encounters with Sheogorath in Skyrim that much more fascinating. Anyway, talking to the prince will allow us to advance the quest and figure out what we need to do to get out of here. Oh, and to get him to cut his vacation short. Sheogorath will greet us by saying,
"How rude! Can't be bothered to host an old friend for a decade or two."
It can't hurt to confirm our suspicions with the man himself. Where are we?
Inside the mind of Pelagius, silly. Oh, is it your first time? Pelagius the Third? Now, surely even you know about Pelagius's decree. On his deathbed, and this was inspired, he forbade death! That's right, death! Outlawed!
Emperor or not, I would have thought such a decree would be out of mortal jurisdiction, but I guess Pelagius had aligned himself with a powerful ally. Let's deliver Dervanin's message.
Really? Oh, what kind of message? A song? A summons! Wait, I know! A death threat written on the back of an Argonian concubine. Those are my favorites. Well, spit it out, mortal. I haven't got an eternity. Actually, I do. Little joke. But seriously, what's the message?
No, you silly bugger, not a death threat. We were asked to retrieve you from your vacation.
Were you now? By whom? Wait! Don't tell me. I want to guess. Was it Molag? No. Little Tim. The Toymaker's son, What? The ghost of King Lysandes? Or was it one? Yes! Stanley, the talking grapefruit from Passwall. I'm wrong on all accounts, aren't I? No matter. Honestly, I don't want to know. Why ruin the surprise? But more to the point, do you, tiny, puny, expendable little mortal, actually think you can convince me to leave? Because that's crazy! You do realize who you're dealing with here.
Of course, a Daedra of his theatrical grandiosity needs to manufacture an excuse to introduce himself, even when it's rather obvious. Let's humour him.
Wrong! Actually, you do, sort of. I am a part of you, little mortal. I'm a shadow in your subconscious, a blemish on your fragile little psyche. You know me, you just don't know it. Sheogorath, Daedric Prince of Madness, at your service.
So does that mean you'll leave or not?
Now that's the real question, isn't it? Because honestly, how much time off could a demented Daedra really need? So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave. That's right, I'm done. Holiday complete. Time to return to the humdrum day-to-day. On one condition. You have to find the way out first. Well, good luck with that.
Brilliant. There was always going to be some kind of riddle in store, so we need to escape using the Wabberjack, and we have 3 potential paths to choose from, so let's work our way from left to right. And even after leaving the tea party, Sheogorath can't help but comment on your decision. As we walk down the left path, he will say,
"Oh, good choice! Well, good for me. I find everyone being out to get you so terribly entertaining. You might find it less so. You see, Pelagius' mother was, well, let us say, unique. Although I suppose, in the grand scheme of things, she was fairly average for a septim. That woman wielded fear like a cleaver. Or did she wield a cleaver and make people afraid? I never get that part right. Oh, but she taught her son well. Pelagius learned at a very early age that danger could come from anywhere, at any time, delivered by anyone.
I guess the theme of this challenge is paranoia. As we approach the stone archway and ascend the stairs, we see 2 Storm Atronachs battling in an arena. We must use the Wabberjack to defeat the enemy. Using the artifact on the Storm Atronachs will not solve the riddle. Only using it on Pelagius' guards will work. Rather than hoping your horse pulls through in the arena, we can turn the guards into wolves, and they'll kill our enemy in a more unorthodox manner. The middle pathway is equally misty and it's hard to see what lies ahead. Thankfully, our jaunty old princely pal is here to give us some context.
You've headed down the path of dreams. Unfortunately for you, Pelagius suffered night terrors from a young age.
So this test addresses another of Pelagius' woes. Paranoia consumed much of his mind during the daytime, and it seems that night terrors plagued his psyche during the twilight hours. Here in the middle of another grassy clearing is a patch of bedroom tiles, and a nice warm bed atop it. Pelagius sleeps soundly, and in order to wake him we must shoot him with the Wabberjack to make a wolf appear. Then we can Wabberjack the wolf to turn it into a harmless ram. Repeating the process will spawn a bandit, who we can swiftly transform into an infant Pelagius, and the third attempt will spawn a Hagraven, who we can miraculously turn into a sultry maiden. Attempt number 4 will spawn a fire Atronach, and finally, on the 5th try, we can summon and banish a dragon priest. And with that, Pelagius is awake, and we've solved his night terrors. And now for the final riddle, down the 3rd pathway.
Ah! Now this is a sad path. Pelagius hated and feared many things. Assassins, wild dogs, the undead, pumpernickel. But the deepest, keenest hatred was for himself.
Self-loathing is the final flaw in Pelagius' twisted mind. Unfortunately though, we won't be forced to fight off waves of soft warm pumpernickel. Instead, we must use the Wabberjack to boost Pelagius' confidence and squash his anger. Who would have thought, after journeying into the mind of a dead man, our task would be to act as his therapist? Back at the tea party, it's time to send Sheogorath back to the Shivering Isles.
Fixed is such a subjective term. I think treated is far more appropriate, don't you? Like one does to a rash, or an arrow in the face. Ah, but no matter. Heartless mortal that you are, you've actually succeeded and survived. I am first to honor my end of the bargain. So, congratulations. You're free to go. They've been known to change my mind. So, go. Really. Pelagius Septim III, once the mad Emperor of Tamriel, now so boringly sane. I always knew he had it in him. Well, I suppose it's back to the Shivering Isles. The trouble Haskell can get into while I'm gone simply boggles the mind. Let's make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Clothes, check. Beard, check. Luggage. Now, where did I leave my luggage?
And in his search for his luggage, Dervanin suddenly appears.
Master, you've taken me back. Does this mean we're going home? Oh, happy times. I can't wait to...
Yes, that's quite enough celebration. Let's send you ahead, shall we? As for you, my little mortal minion, feel free to keep the Wabberjack as a symbol of my... I'll just take the damn thing. You take care of yourself now. And if you ever find yourself up in New Sheo, do look me up. We can share a strawberry tart. Ha! Ta-ta!
And as quickly as we arrived, we depart, back to the Pelagius wing and a lungful of dust motes. Now that we're back in the real world, there are a few things to ponder. The first, which I'm sure is very obvious, is the fact that this quest was no doubt inspired by Lewis Carroll's novel, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And secondly, this is the first occurrence in all of the Elder Scrolls where two of the game's protagonists meet face to face. And finally, we have one souvenir from our adventure, the Wabberjack. This peculiar staff has a very unique effect. Each casting of the Daedric artifact will result in an unpredictable outcome. You could fire a destruction spell for high damage, you could heal, you could turn them invisible. There's a variety of options. If you're lucky, you may even be able to transform them into a stack of gold, or perhaps a sweet roll or a wheel of cheese. And there you have it, guys. Probably the most whimsical quest in all of Skyrim, one that will certainly have you questioning your sanity for some time to come. There's never a dull encounter with Sheogorath, the Prince of Madness. If you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Drew, and I will see you later.